Potter's House, formerly Hibbert House, was erected by Thomas Hibbert, a wealthy young English merchant, in 1755. It was built as Hibbert's dwelling house on the corner of what is now Duke and Beeston Streets as a result of a wager between himself and 3 other merchants to see who could build the most beautiful house in Kingston. Inside the house, there are several noteworthy features. These include the fine brickwork found in the basement and the exquisite staircase that leads from the ground floor to the first.
Was a bachelor until he died, but he said to have had a long-term relationship with a black woman, perhaps a slave, and who he fathered children with. And this would have been the custom of many planters and many rich whites at the time, to, instead of marrying a woman of their own race, they would have a long-term relationship with a black woman. So he did that. And right, so in addition to that, he was a merchant. And in the 1700s, when you're a merchant, more than likely you're doing things in relation to the slave trade. So he was a slave trader, a trader of enslaved Africans, and things that Africans would have produced, such as sugar, rum, molasses, and all the other agricultural products. So he would buy and sell things, facilitating the trade between Britain and Jamaica. In addition to that, he was a money lender. So, having gotten some money, he would have been lending money and so forth. And he was also a property owner. He owned property here. At the time, it was called Stanton Street, and it's now called Duke Street. But he also owned property on Mark Lane, Water Lane, Orange Street, and other places in Kingston. The capital of Jamaica was briefly transferred to Kingston. And while it was transferred to Kingston, the assembly met here in this house, right downstairs, which in a sense almost foreshadowed the coming of the transfer of the capital from Spanish Town to Kingston 100 years later. Right, so he was the Speaker of the House. He was a public and known figure. I think, at a number of levels for us to preserve these structures as far as possible. From an aesthetic point of view, a lot of these things are very unique. They don't exist in many other places. In addition to that, our ancestors would have invested a significant effort and energy into these structures, and they ought to be maintained. But these structures tell a story about us as a people, who we are, important things that have happened. And if we destroy the evidence of these things, we are going to be lost without the memory of these things. So history and the evidence and these heritage sites act as effective memory banks of our people, of our society, of who we are as a country. And we need to preserve them as evidence for future generations to help us understand who we are as a people, what are some of the things that have happened to determine where we are as a people, and hopefully help to give us some direction as to where we should go. So it is very important that we preserve them, and preservation not does not only mean to fix it up and to ensure it looks good, but to also tell our people, let them know, because if they know, then they too will be interested in them and understanding them, but also want to protect them for future generations.